Mr. Speaker.
I call Dr. Jian Yang.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak briefly on Education Amendment Bill, Food in Schools Amendment Bill at first reading. First of all, I acknowledge the honourable member, David Shearer, who put forward this particular bill. Actually, I believe David Shearer is a fine man. Actually, I did a search online, Wikipedia, although when I was an academic, I did not allow my students to use Wikipedia as a source of reference. Now, I was look at the Wikipedia. David Shearer, along with his wife, were named the New Zealander of the Year by the New Zealand Herald in 1992. And in the following year, he was appointed as a member of the British Empire in the British New Year's Honours List. And he did humanitarian work in different parts of the world, including Liberia, Rwanda, Albania, Belgrade, Israel, Lebanon, and Iraq. Quite extraordinary experience. And I believe that he could have been a very good leader for the opposition, but unfortunately he didn't have the support of his caucus. We appreciate, but the reason why I say this is because I appreciate the members' intention of helping children from poor families. Now look at the main provisions of the bill. Basically, look at this. It inserts a new section in the Education Act that provides for the Secretary of Education to designate organizations as food in school providers and to set out the basis on which schools are eligible for receiving assistance from food in school providers. And also, a designated food in school provider must provide food to students in schools if the school board has requested assistance and the school have been defined as eligible for notice, and also it is a state primary school. And fund is appropriated by Parliament, and the food in school providers must be paid general grants. So these are some main provisions. And also the member has stated in the bill's explanatory note that, I quote, there is substantial evidence from New Zealand and around the world that hunger has a significant impact on children's cognitive development, learning, and classroom behavior. And also, end quote, if kids turn up to school not having eaten breakfast, without shoes, or sick because their house is cold and damp, it is obvious they will not get the best start. Addressing this problem is one of the most important actions we can take to lift New Zealand's educational achievement. I have to say that it's very hard to disagree. These are good observations. But the point is, the government has been doing this to help us, all sorts of things to help our kids. Now, we say it is important to help kids from poor families. It is important by I had a look at Kickstart program online. Schools say Kickstart breakfast clubs are not only helping children nutritionally, but it's also making a positive impact on learning behavior. In school research shows literacy and numeracy levels are improving, children are happier, have more energy, and are able to concentrate longer. Children are no longer eating junk food at morning tea. The club provides a great environment for children to socialize together. The older children are taking on responsibility and looking after the younger ones. So I would say, indeed, it's important for us to make sure our kids have food in school. Now, I also meant to mention that my education background, and also my family background, I come from a teacher's family. My parents were teachers. They are now retired. And my parents-in-law are also retired teachers, and my younger brother still is working in China as deputy principal, and my sister-in-law is also working in education sector in China. So very interestingly, of course, now I moved to New Zealand, and now as chair of Education and Science Committee, I would say that education is fundamental to our kids and to our future. Now, I would mention that I experienced poverty myself. As a family, all family were sent to countryside in the 1960s as a program, Chinese program called Intellectuals Need to Be Educated or Re-educated by Peasants. So my parents were sent to countryside to work as peasants. And so I witnessed poverty in China, and also I saw numerous poor kids going to school. So it is important that, because in those years China was under socialism and everyone was equal, but everyone was poor. So family similarly. Now, we would say that it is important. I totally agree with the member that it's important. But the national government is already fulfilling the purpose of the bill. That is, we have taken a number of initiatives to help our kids. Now, for example, the Kickstart, right? The Kickstart program. Fonterra and Sanitarium partnered in February 2009 to provide a free school breakfast, of Anchor milk and wheat mix to all New Zealand schools. The government then expanded Kickstart breakfast as part of the program to better support vulnerable children with an investment of $9.5 million over 5 years. That was in May 2013. So the investment enabled the program to be extended from 2 years to 5 years, from 2 days to 5, and it was opened up to all schools. Those are 1 to 10. So basically, we say not all poor children attend DESO 1 and 2 schools. Some poor children also go to higher DESO schools. Now, with Kickstart program extending to schools for every DESO, it targets more kids in need. And since there are more than 95,000 nutritious breakfasts, more than 95,000 nutritious breakfasts are served each week in over 730 schools that run their own Kickstart Breakfast Club. And over 3.4 million breakfasts have been served, and now we reach more than 28,000 children. And also we have our Kids Action Plan, a plan that focuses resources on kids most in need. And also we have our Kids Can. That's the Kids Can. Now the government is increasing support to Kids Can, providing $1.5 million over 3 years to provide children with basic necessities like raincoats and shoes. But you do not need legislation to launch a government-funded program to support the delivery of food or meals at schools. We are already doing this in partnership with corporate and not-for-profit groups. And also Budget 2014 also supports our young and young families. Now, for example, we invested almost 500 million more in the well-being of New Zealand's children and families. And also, the Budget 2014 provides a comprehensive package of practical measures focused in young families and those vulnerable children who most need our care and protection. Now, example here is Budget 2014 committed $42 million to increase the parental leave credit, parental tax credit from its previous maximum amount of $150 a week to $220 a week. And also from 1st April 2015, increases the period for which the tax credit is paid from 8 weeks to 10 weeks following the birth of a child. And also we have free doctor's visit and prescriptions for children aged under 6 that will be extended to children aged under 13 from July 2015.
I'm sorry to interrupt the member, but his time has expired.